Welcome, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear us? I think it looks like we're sound. It looks like we've got music going in.
I'm not going to speak until they can actually. I know that they can actually hear us.
They can hear us. I mean, there's nobody on the comments right now, so
that's sad.
We haven't done a show in a couple weeks, so that happens when you stop doing a show. Nobody watches your show, so
it's a reasonable
yeah,
assessment.
and that's okay. So, but we're gonna do a show.
Cute, quiet.
No,
Sounds like it to me. I guess. Whatever.
Move it a little bit closer, I guess. So
what's that? Is this better?
Yeah.
As I whisper to see if it gets any louder.
Looks like it's going in there good.
All right, whatever.
All right, so here's what we do. You get to watch us record. Hopefully the sound will work. Last time it was doing this weird echo back thing.
Well, that was because you were doing like the whole. Wasn't that like the audio? I don't remember.
Oh, the auto balancer.
Auto balancer.
No. What I'm talking about was last time it was it was looping. So it's going from the mic is going into the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the computer is running on the dashboard, our mixer.
Okay.
Inside the computer. Running out from our headphone jack back into the mixer.
Okay.
And then running all the way back into record. So it was doing this weird loop thing where it was echoing.
That's a lot of steps.
Yeah, it was doing this weird echo with it.
Okay.
And I think it's not going to do it this time.
You think?
Yeah, it won't do it on the podcast when we record the podcast version.
Good.
I'm just worried it's doing it on the video version.
Oh, okay.
So we're not going to do a lot of banner because we're going to banner in the show, but we are going to walk through what our show is going to be about. You get to get the preview of that while we go over our notes, which is what we do before every episode, and then we'll count down. And
was I not supposed to go over my notes before we started?
I did a little bit.
You guys did a little bit, but that's good. We already got the intro ready to go. There, banter. I'm going to explain a little bit about why we've disengaged from Twitter.
Sounds good.
Needs to happen.
Okie dokie.
And then we can talk a little bit about Mom watching the
Yeah, that'd be
Mandalorian
fun.
And her cookie making.
and her cookie making with that.
A lot of it.
A lot of cookie making. Lego Batmobile, Nate, so you can be ready to talk about that. And then we are scheduled to have our first episode go up this Wednesday. Star Wars Rebels Revisited. So we're going to probably record in the next couple of days.
Okay.
Okay.
On that. But
Good to know.
last
I
week's
didn't know this before.
last week's poll didn't get up because I've disengaged from Twitter. So we'll explain that when we do the poll. But yeah. The poll exists. It's on our Facebook page. There's a Facebook. Actually, you good? You good, Handful Lecter? You good on that? All right. There's a poll tab now on our Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
And we can keep our polls there and use those.
Wow.
For it.
So high tech.
Yeah. This week's poll, we'll talk about that.
Wow.
It's different. Instead of which version of is your favorite, it's going to be legitimate.
Oh no, you're gonna allow the toxic fan base to speak their mind.
You know what? Speak your mind, but
Be nice about it.
I can ban comments. So
True.
So if they don't agree with you, you're gonna ban them.
I can kick you from the page.
Isn't that? Never mind.
This is
Not gonna go there right now.
It's a dictatorship, baby. All right. Hot takes. We're gonna go through those. Star Wars Squadrons. Talk a little bit about that. I've got something that I'm not sure you guys have noticed yet.
You're frustrated and you don't like it?
Well, I was frustrated a little bit. You guys should probably go to bed before 1 a.m. You guys are both like eye-watery, yawn.
Oh no, I'm doing that because
exhausted.
it happens after VR. I get really
I
tired.
don't even feel tired.
You're right. Like you just yawned and your eyes got all red, like you're sad.
That's what happens when you yawn.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
I don't go to bed.
I noticed something
Squadrons is so
playing
beautiful.
Star Wars Squadrons this afternoon that I don't think we've talked about, and I'm not sure you guys have picked up on yet.
It's a cool game.
No, like
You suck at video games.
greater Star Wars canon stuff.
Oh no, I have not picked up on it.
I think I might have. I think so.
I'm not as far in as y'all are, so
I'm close to the end, and I'm excited to figure out.
No,
how
I
this
mean
is
I'm
gonna
talking
play.
about in the stuff. Just
I know, but it's probably going to come to light if it's true. It's probably going to come to light by the end of the
I'll
campaign.
find out. We'll see on that. So, then we're talking a little bit about that Jedi Fallen Order stuff, and then the Gary
Supposedly.
Whitta stuff, which I think is pretty awesome. I'm hoping that's true. And then let's see what's the next thing.
Palps.
Palpy.
Palpatine.
We talked a little bit about that. You guys were like, I mean, I know I mentioned it.
Oh,
when
I know
we were out.
everything about Palpatine. in
You
the
know
sequels.
everything?
Everything.
How old is he?
I mean,
Ha.
he died once, and then. Do you know?
No.
What was his son's name?
We don't know
Doesn't
this
he have
actually.
Does his clone
Is that his
have a
son?
name? Does that count as a son?
Is that more like a brother?
Distant cousin? Nah. Twin?
I
But
guess.
not identical.
All right. Anyway, but you guys know what you're going to talk about.
Vaguely.
Like, have you
yeah.
thought through what
I don't
you're
know what
gonna
the
say?
main point is that we're going for yet.
Satan.
Satan.
I just saw that like in bold and in quotation marks, and I'm like, Satan. Okay. Moving right on.
Maybe you guys should just take a second to read that dad moment before. I won't read it on here, and just be aware of what the direction that I'm going to go with that is.
Oh, I knew where you were going.
All right. My kids, I love them.
Hey,
They're
I
good
helped
kids.
you get through a frustrating level in Squadrons.
Yes. Yeah. You.
He was really
I
angry.
was so
That's
pissed.
just because he doesn't play video games.
I was so disoriented at that point.
Follow
I didn't know
the markers.
what was
They didn't
up.
have really markers. You'll know when you get to it.
It
It's
was hard.
pretty
It was a
frustrating.
frustrating scene. I couldn't figure out which way was up, which way was down.
There is
I was
no up or down
seeing
in space.
Things going through. It was through. You were seeing the marker was like through buildings. And
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out how to get to the other side of those things.
It's confusing.
It is. So
It's-
We'll talk about it on the show. Okay.
You were very pissed.
He was.
Anything else? Is who wants which?
I'll do Baby Yoda and Anakin because that just
Do you know what that means? I mean, I teased it at the end there.
yeah. I mean, I could yeah.
Figure out what it is.
I know none of these.
Okay, you should do the the Darth Maul's name. They just have never revealed what his real name was.
Okay.
It's always Maul or Darth Maul.
Right.
They've never
Why
said
has
what it
that
was.
been?
There's no why. They just
didn't want to.
this big article about we're probably never going to get the name.
Are they going to do that with Baby Yoda, I wonder?
No.
No, they've said well, we can talk about it on the show, but and then I'll
Save it for
explain
the show.
I'll explain the
Tauntaun.
Tauntaun thing.
That's not how you spell it, though?
It's gonna be Ton.
I'll explain it.
Tan.
Tan. It's gonna be like Brooklyn or something. Tauntaun.
Yeah, that's Tauntaun. You know, he's a Tauntaun.
T-A-W-N,
You say it like
T-A-W-N.
this, so that's how we do it. You know?
Tauntaun.
All right.
Town.
All right.
All right.
Town.
All right.
Do you have anybody on here?
No, not a single person.
Beautiful. That means we can be as stupid as we want. Although this
Absolutely.
does get recorded, I think. So
Be as
that's okay.
offensive as we want as well.
no, let's not do that.
We're not going to be offensive. We're not offensive people. So, you want to practice your intro? Well, let's not because we know what the intro is, and you don't really need to practice this one. So,
Yeah, I had to. Dad didn't throw
You
any
good?
weird words
Yeah,
in
I'm
there,
good.
so
you good?
Good.
You going to play with the chords anymore?
If you want me to, I
I'd
can.
rather you not. It's driving me crazy. Put the chords in. All right. So I'm going to start the recording. I'm going to count down. We're live on mic, all of us.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. We can't speak until we get to the actual topic because we can't mute ourselves. That's
Well,
right. Well, I mean, we
on the
can
video,
mute.
it doesn't mute.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
We'll see. It might. I can mute it. Oh no, the speaking. We're actually speaking on that, aren't we? Yeah. So on that whole talk over thing that we were saying, the video, the pre-countdown video, I thought we weren't.
Did we say anything offensive?
I don't think we said anything. About
Well, no one was watching anyway, so.
That's true. Well, it's being recorded. It's going out on Facebook and on YouTube, and it stays on there unless I delete it. So
We're probably gonna get demonetized anyway.
No, we aren't going to get to mine. We didn't say anything. So, because we don't curse.
No.
We don't say mean things.
No.
We don't say hateful things.
We censored ourselves from actually saying a hateful thing at the beginning, didn't we? No. Wait, now I was thinking of something else. Okay, let's just go.
I have no idea what he's talking about. We probably should start the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Once we start the show, we aren't paying attention to you guys on video any longer. Love you. Thank you so much. Here we go. 5, 4.
Welcome, Star Wars fans, to episode 133 of Tatooine Sons. This week, we're talking about Sheev Palpatine.
That's it? That's all you're going to say?
That's all I need to say, so
I am the Senate.
it's time for Tatooine Sons.
It's true. All of it.
What is the name of the porg on the Millennium Falcon?
Force is strong.
Welcome, Star Wars fans. This is Tatooine Sons, your weekly look into all things Star Wars from the unique perspective of a father sharing his love for the amazing space fantasy saga with his two sons. I am BB Nate, and I'm joined first by my brother, Samuel the Hutt.
To Star Wars fans, thanks for tuning in. And if you're not a Star Wars fan, then I don't care. Go buy Squadrons right now.
Wow.
Just do it. It's $40.
You kind of used this one a couple of times.
No.
You're going to like Squadrons anyway.
Well, now I know for sure.
Okay. So Grammy's on.
Hi, Grammy.
She said we lost the audio. You don't want to know why?
Because we're not.
Because I muted it on the thing, thinking it was just muting our mics, and it muted all this. But that's okay, because it's going to work the rest of the way. I've got a plan. And it worked fine on the podcast recording. So
Yay.
This is what happens.
It's true Tatooine Sons
Love you,
fashion.
Grammy. So,
All right.
And
of course, you can have
yeah.
Star Wars with bizarre father figures that accidentally lose audio during video podcast
Sorry.
recordings. This is my dad's bowtie Jedi guy.
What's up, gentlemen?
Hello.
It's a whole lot.
It's been kind of a crazy couple of weeks.
It
We
has.
didn't do an episode last week. Came back.
Don't
Got a
know
little. Mom and guy got a little cold. No, we do not
Nice.
have COVID with this.
Yeah,
I got
So,
a bad feeling about this.
But we got a little cold, and then we've been working our tails off. Our mom's been working her tail off on
Tails?
her tails. She's got two.
Wow. She works so much she needs
She
to
needs
have
to
two.
have two. Because she could work one off on one day and then the next one off the next. So that got weird. Okay. 1,200 cookies she's making for our first responders here in
A
Orlando.
lot of cookies
That's
with
a
one
lot.
oven.
One oven in a home kitchen.
It's a lot of sugar.
It's a
So
lot of
proud
cookies.
of her because she's like not only been able to pull this off, but she's maintained her cool throughout the whole thing. And I don't know how she did both, pulled it off and maintained her cool with it. There was a point right before lunch where she was getting a little hangry. Do you notice
Yeah.
that hungry, angry thing? She hadn't eaten anything, and she's like stuff started going a little bit wrong, just a little bit. And she was like, you could tell she was getting frustrated. So she sat down.
She took a break.
She was fine.
Ate some
Ate some
pizza.
pizza.
It was
She's,
good.
she's
We're
done.
gonna have
All
pizza
the-
twice tonight.
All the
Sorry.
Nice.
the 600 plus are baked.
Wow.
So now we've got 600 more to go tomorrow. And then they're done.
Yay.
So it's
A lot of cookies.
So last weekend we were back in Orange Beach.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
So
Everything was closed, basically,
because of the Hurricane Sally, it was pretty disastrous. Why don't you guys talk about it?
it was.
I mean,
There was a whole dock in the outside pool at the condo, a full one. It was kind of cool because we actually got to see crane lift it out of the pool.
part of the dock floated over into the outside pool, like over the outside pool, and so it was kind of neat to see like the crane. I mean, it was the most redneck thing ever. The way they were fixing
Yeah,
it.
explain
like,
what
there
they
were
were doing. It was fun to watch.
There was no OSHA like regulations
Oh no!
going on there.
Like they were in there in sandals. A couple guys, like
Yeah.
flip flop sandals,
So,
walking
like,
around on there.
Basically, they took this barge with a crane on it, or not a crane.
I don't know what
you call those things.
Yeah.
They got like the big arms or whatever, with the scoops at the end, and it had a chain on it. And what they did is they parked it in there, not without running into a few things on the way, just because it's true, redneck fashion. And then they basically had this guy get up there with a chainsaw, no safety glasses, nothing. I don't even know
In
if he was-
shorts and flip flops
Yep.
and everything.
just cut a couple slits in the dock, and then they had the crane come and they looped the chain through, and they're like, all right, yank it, see what happens. And they just pull it up and it falls apart in like pieces, and they're like, okay. So they just did it a bunch more times and
They just piled it on
off
the side.
on the side
there.
because they said some other company was going to come and pick it up eventually. Anyway, their job was to just get it off the pool and stuff. And they got it all in that one day or whatever, which was
They
impressive.
did.
But
There was like flower pots and garbage cans and everything in that outside pool.
it was literally, the water was black.
It was.
It was nasty.
And it stank.
Did you go down there to it?
No, you could smell it from up.
I couldn't smell
I didn't
it.
smell anything.
Maybe I have Rona. I don't know.
You did not have Rona.
I don't have Rona.
You do not
so.
have the coronavirus.
So if you follow us and you listen to the show, obviously if you're watching or listening right now, then you listen
to our show.
to the show.
That's a good point.
That's
kind of how it works.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
yeah. So anyway, I don't know what I was getting ready to say. No, you may follow us on Twitter.
Yes.
And if you follow us on Twitter, then there's a possibility, not a likelihood in my opinion, but a possibility that you've noticed I haven't had us on there for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Haven't done diddly squat on Twitter, including our normal Twitter poll and all of that. And there's somewhat it had to do with my phone updated and I couldn't find the Twitter app. It got moved.
Wow, you're so old.
No, I'm seriously.
You can just search it, right?
I know. I mean, I found it, but it's not where I normally went,
Right,
where all
right.
the other stuff was. So I just stopped paying attention to it. And then it got to the point where I started realizing I didn't care. And that doesn't mean I don't love you guys that follow us on Twitter. You guys are awesome. But the rest of the Twitter stuff's a bunch of junk. And I'm tired of it. So the last 2 weeks has actually been pretty awesome not being on Twitter. And so in the last couple of days, I made the decision that we're going to put our poll over up on Facebook now. And we're going to stay on that because it's a little bit more of a controlled environment. Not worried much about Twitter. We'll probably post our shows on there and maybe interact on there when there's something that I want to interact on, but I don't plan on us being vocally present on Twitter. So find us on Facebook if you listen to the show, just because it just got to the point where it was so out of control toxic. I just didn't want to be on there anymore.
There's no point.
And it was just, it would literally get me frustrated and angry every time I'd get on Twitter. And I just was like,
It's not healthy.
why do I need that in my life?
Yeah.
And the last 2 weeks of not having it in my life, it's actually been pretty awesome. So there we go.
I have spoken.
What else are we going to talk about here on that?
Mom's watching The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Finally.
Explain. Just go. Sam, you can go.
It was just like a couple days ago. Mom was like, she talked about The Mandalorian.
She was like, how many episodes are in it? And we're like,
yeah, we're
8.
like 8. And she's like, oh, that's not bad. I'm like, yeah, they're not even like an hour each. They're usually like 30 minutes. She's like, oh, that's not bad. She's like, I might want to watch that with y'all. And we're like, really? She's like, yeah, so I can watch the new season when it comes out. And we're like, heck yeah, sure, we'll do that. So we've only watched the first couple episodes at this point with her.
Not really any reaction.
No, she said it's Star Wars. She said it didn't feel like a Western as much as even like Solo felt like to her.
Oh.
Because she says, mainly because it's been mostly alien creatures so far. There's not hardly been like any humans at all. And it kind of like takes her out of the moment. So she says it just still feels like Star Wars to her. But
Yeah, it's been robots and Baby Yoda and
droids and
Queel.
It gets
and-
a lot better, though, throughout the series.
The next episode 3, is the Sin. That's the that's where it starts. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
where stuff goes down.
I mean,
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah,
way.
so,
This is the way.
We've also
That's that episode, isn't it?
yeah.
been, for some reason, deciding to binge all the Marvel movies that have Iron Man in it, because we were at Moe's and we heard a song that we thought was in the first Iron Man.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. It was.
But it reminded us of the song in the first Iron
and we're like,
Man.
we need to watch Iron Man. So we're like, we're gonna watch the first Iron Man. And then we're like, let's just
Let's
watch
just
all
watch
the Marvel.
every Marvel movie that has to do with Iron Man.
So
pretty
that's
much.
most of them. We're about to watch Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, so we've only watched Iron Man 2,
Avengers.
and Avengers, and so now it's Iron Man 3. Which BB Nate, you said that was one of your favorites.
It
So-
is.
It's one of my favorites.
It's
for
my
sure.
favorite out of the standalone Iron Man movies.
Oh, okay, all right, that's good.
I
Why does Iron Man 2? Why does Iron Man 3
know.
get a bad rap?
Iron
I
Man
have
3,
no
I do
idea.
not understand Iron Man 3 at all. It's a good movie. Iron Man 2, it's a little disjointed. I feel like in some points the pacing can be a little off, but
don't know. I think they're both fine.
it's
They
fine,
feel
yeah.
like Marvel movies to me. Better than Thor: The Dark World for sure.
or even
Is Thor: The Dark World the bottom movie in the entire Marvel?
I don't know that
trilogy?
or Incredible Hulk. I know both are.
Yeah, but I don't think Incredible Hulk is really considered. I mean, it is part of the MCU just because they decided to make it a part. It's weird.
It is weird.
they don't
Does
talk about
fit?
it at all.
They don't talk about it. It's not on Disney Plus
No.
because it's made by a different studio.
Yeah.
It has Ed Norton and not Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
And the only way you know it's part of the MCU
that's
is because Tony Stark shows up at the very end.
Yeah.
It's a strange.
And it's got that colonel
This is
guy or whatever.
madness.
The military guy. I forget his name.
Yeah, and he's part. That's true. He's got more continuity than the Hulk does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he shows up in Civil War. He shows up in Captain. No, what was the one that he just?
He showed up in Civil War, and then he's going to show
I think
up.
in Captain Marvel. He shows up as a young version in something.
I'm pretty sure.
think
Yeah, it
so.
might be Captain
Yeah.
Marvel, and then he's going to show up something else.
He's in Endgame.
He's in Endgame.
He shows up at the end at Endgame at the funeral scene.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and
I'm
I'm
with it.
forgetting.
Anyway.
It's interesting.
I don't know.
So
Yeah, that is one of those weird outlier movie.
Yeah.
In the MCU. It
yeah, it doesn't even feel like part of the MCU.
really doesn't.
So
Anyway. That was a rabbit trail.
but it's a lot better than the one that came out with.
Ooh, I saw.
I haven't seen that one.
It just like
the one with Jennifer Connelly and stuff.
It
Yeah.
feels like it's a motion comic.
It's terrible.
It looked bad.
It's
I've never seen it.
really.
I watched the final scene. Woo.
Yeah. Okay. BB Nate, you got a
Yeah.
you got a belated BB
Got enough B's in there?
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
You got a belated birthday present.
From y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You had no clue it was coming.
I
Oh,
had
no.
no clue it was coming.
So Mom and I went back to Disney Springs to the Lego store and finally got it after like our fourth attempt.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay.
And it was finally in. So why don't you tell everybody what you got?
So they got me the Collector's Series Lego Batmobile with, I think it's around 3,200 pieces. And the biggest set I've built is around 500 pieces. So it was a
Just to
daunting.
give you some perspective, I don't know if the video podcast can see this, but that's about 3 times as many pieces as my Millennium Falcon or Star
Lean your
Destroyer.
head over this way.
This way?
And then show, yeah, that's it.
Star
Yep.
Destroyer.
Yep.
Millennium Falcon. About 3 times that.
It's awesome.
It's really cool.
huge.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a little jealous.
I mean,
Then again, I didn't want to bet.
it's very. There's a lot of detail to it. The steering wheel in the cockpit actually steers the front wheels, which is awesome. I mean, you can't
It's
reach
got a
it.
brake and gas pedal.
It
Even though
does.
you can't even see them. They're just there
You can't
because
really reach the steering wheel to steer the front wheels, but it's there. And it took me a whole day to build it.
no, it took you almost 2.
No, well, it took me about a few. I did a couple nights that had like a couple hours in it, and then I just took a whole day to do it, and that was interesting.
Yeah, we got it to you on the Tuesday night, and you put like 5 minutes into it, I think, before bed, or 15, 20 minutes or something before bed.
I think
Yeah.
it was
that
like
night.
about an hour
Oh, was it? Okay. And then the next night we had been
at Disney.
Disney, and then we went to dinner, I think. And
We went to Uno's.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was late that night, so you did a little bit, hour or so probably on that. And then the next day it was like an all day.
Yeah.
Because we were getting ready to leave to go out of town. So it was awesome. Wednesday, the 7th.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell them what's up.
This is our first. Well, we're gonna go back and redo the
We're gonna
relaunch.
revisit what the Rebels revisited.
There you go. So our first episode's supposed to come out Wednesday,
And we haven't even prepared.
and
So
we have done nothing.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll get it
So,
done.
yeah.
I'm excited about it just because we're going to get to watch another episode. We're just going to focus on one episode this time and just do the
Yeah.
first one and have some fun. I've got the graphics and stuff in place
Cool.
and the transitions, and it'll be a lot of fun. So.
Yes.
And that one we'll have to actually pay attention to the video when we do it, but it won't be live,
True.
so it'll be different. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Excited about that. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't have a lot
Yeah.
to talk about on this week's poll, but we'll again do a little bit of an explanation on the poll in just a second.
Are you brainless? I never asked that question until after I've done it.
What?
All right, so our poll this week, last couple of weeks, was supposed to be, which expression of Count Dooku is your favorite? Prequel films, Clone Wars, Jedi Lost. I think we all said Jedi Lost, didn't we? No, I said Jedi Lost.
I said Jedi Lost as well.
What did you say? You said
I don't
Clone
remember.
Wars, I think is what you said.
I think you said Clone Wars.
I think I did too.
Yeah.
I was going to say Clone Wars, yeah.
So the reality is we moved it off of Twitter. It's no longer on a Twitter poll. It's going to be a Facebook poll. It's a tab on our Facebook page, so make sure that you go over there. And you can still vote in that, and it's not limited to 7 days or whatever it is going on with Twitter. So you can always vote in those and have a lot of fun.
7 days?
That's what they've always done that on Twitter.
That's
You can they limit it. You can set it to be like an hour poll or whatever.
Wow. Oh, you've done
but
that
the maximum is 7 days on that one. This one is just an open-ended.
Okay.
Poll. So
cool.
you guys can vote in on that. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on the poll because there wasn't much to say. This week's poll coming up though is going to be really interesting because we're going to be talking about Palpy.
Papa Palp.
Papa Palps. So.
I am the Senate.
Okay, can I say this? I'm waiting for the meme.
Not yet.
Nobody's doing like a deep fake video or something.
Oh.
Because Biden said, I am the Democratic Party.
He did.
At the debate the other night. And I wanted him to say, I want somebody to have that. You know,
over Palpatine or
over
whatever.
Palpatine
Yeah.
or something like that. That's
That's a good one.
Can you do it?
hashtag missed opportunities.
I don't know. I might be able to figure something out with that.
It was so.
Some
I mean,
clever
I'm
editing.
so waiting for it to happen. I am the Democratic Party. So, anyway, was it a mistake to this coming week's poll that we're going to have after the show finally gets up tomorrow? Was it a mistake to bring Palpatine back for the Rise of Skywalker? Yes, no. Execution was
Okay,
bad.
what type
or
of execution are we talking about? His death or his portrayal?
Are you talking about his literal execution at the
Yes.
end? Oh.
Wow. I can't figure out a comment
I got a
on that
bad
one. We'll just
feeling
go with that
about
one. Okay.
this.
No, what I meant was, yes, it was a bad idea. No, it wasn't a bad idea. The execution was bad. You know, the
How they did
idea is not necessarily the issue.
It's
Bringing
just-
him back is fine, but they didn't execute properly.
Yeah.
With that or other. What would you guys say based on that? We're going to talk a little bit about this in the show, but what did you think
I
about
felt
it?
like it was needed. I felt like you don't close out the Skywalker.
Do you like the way they brought him back, though?
Yes. I mean, the novel was so much better than the movie because it expanded on more ideas, and now that I know how he came back.
Okay, let's just talk movie. The way it was
I know.
presented in the movie.
Yes.
No backstory, no explanation as to where he's at, why he's there. They kind of allude to the fact that they're trying to clone him, but we don't really know. You see cloning chambers. You really don't know. You don't know that Rey's father is a clone. You don't know any of this stuff from the movie.
Right.
Right? All you know is that Palpatine had a son. The son got killed. Son and daughter-in-law got killed. And Rey's the grandchild.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And he's been alive this whole time, is what is implied. Do you think that the execution was good?
I think I've said this before, and it's going to kind of sound a little dark side, but I feel like just the whole execution of Rise of Skywalker could have been better. Not just Palpatine. I just feel like the whole movie
And
had a lot of missed opportunities.
I'd have to agree. It's just there was so much. It was all over the place throughout the whole sequel trilogy, and J.J. Abrams refusing to use the story group did not help his situation at all.
Okay, so you like them bringing him back. You like the way they brought him back,
Yes.
but only because it's been informed by what's in the novel.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's fair to Star Wars fans.
Absolutely not.
No.
With it.
I mean, with the whole final battle scene, with all the call signs, they could have easily put that in the movie, but they didn't. I feel like if Rise of Skywalker was the novel we got, it would have been one of the best Star Wars movies ever made. But it wasn't. It was the movie. And I'm not saying that the movie was bad. I can always watch it. It's not a problem. It's an okay movie. But it's not my favorite, definitely. So
And y'all do realize that at the end of every trilogy, it ends with Palpatine shocking himself, right?
yeah. Irony.
I don't even know what to say to that.
It's true. Which is why I didn't like that in the end of Rise of Skywalker. I'm like, okay, why can't he just like turn off the lightning?
How did he shock himself in the original trilogy?
When he was getting picked up, he was shocking both him and Vader.
Okay.
And by the way, probably Rey was probably using Force Lightning.
She can't use Force Lightning.
Okay.
And it was coming from the lightsabers. Anyway.
All right. That's pretty interesting.
Yes. Very interesting.
It's strange.
All right. Well, why don't we move on? Because now I'm trying to figure out my
I've
entire
broken your brain?
You broke me. All right. All right. We've flown TIE fighters and X-Wings and A-Wings and Y-Wings and a bunch of other Star Wars wings, or Star Wars ships. And
U-Wings and Reapers and everything.
Well, some of us have. And so that's exciting. Will Sam and Nathan have to ask for a PS5 for Christmas? Christmas. And could we finally be getting a Rebels sequel announcement this week? That's all next on Hot Takes.
This is where the fun begins.
Well, you want the bad news or the really bad news?
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
All right, all wings report in. Star Wars Squadrons has arrived. The much anticipated flight combat game is now available for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and is finally playable in virtual reality.
Fully playable.
I say finally because
Finally fully playable.
yeah, it's fully
Very different.
fully playable in virtual reality. This is from StarWars.com. Their announcement. Developed by Motive Studios, Star Wars Squadrons delivers thrilling first-person 5 versus 5 multiplayer space dogfights, monumental fleet battles, and an original story set during the final days of the Galactic Empire and the rise of the New Republic after the events of Star Wars Return of the Jedi. It's the first Star Wars flight game released in years, and this will be a day long remembered. All right, guys, just talk about Squadrons. BB Nate, you've played more of it than anybody.
I have.
So why don't you give us your impression?
No spoilers.
I think I'm on mission 11, so I have 3 missions left,
Okay.
including the one I'm on, or so. It's the campaign itself right now is very good. I feel like it's one of the better Star Wars campaigns we've gotten over the recent years. Not that it has a lot of, at least, canon importance yet. I don't know. Dad apparently has a little theory so far, but I really enjoy the direction that it's going, and I enjoy
Not a theory, more of an Easter egg. Just
Easter egg. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I like the fact that it really delves deep into the military side of New Republic and Empire. It's not all about Force users or somebody defecting or everything. You're diving deep into what it's like. So it's really interesting, and I like the campaign so far. I've tried to play one multiplayer match, and the game crashed, and I was doing really well, and so
talk. I mean, obviously, the campaign is cool. You've enjoyed that, Samuel. What do you think about just the gameplay?
The gameplay itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's everything I wanted it to be. At the beginning, like in the early missions, it was a little okay, just because the early missions were just getting you used to basic controls. But there was one level where finally I had full control over everything in my ship. I was able to divert energy everywhere I wanted. I was able to like move shields towards the front and the back. I had my power-ups. I mean, it was great, and it was this massive battle, and that's when it felt like everything I wanted it to be. I was flying around, and I needed to take out this ship, so I would make sure, okay, I'm going to make sure my shields are at front. I'm going to put all my power to weapons. I'm going to strafe it. I'm going to hit it. Then I'm going to move my shields to the back, recharge my shields, loop around, and then do it all again. And it felt like everything I wanted it to be because I was multitasking everything.
Madness.
This is going to sound bad because I'm referencing something Star Trek here, but just bear with me. If you ever played,
hold on.
just
got a
bear
bad
with me.
feeling
I'm
about
going
okay,
somewhere.
there are a lot of Star Wars fans that play this game.
Okay.
Because it's genuinely a fun game.
Okay.
Star Trek Bridge Crew. Basically, you've got like a bunch of people in the room, and they each control an aspect of whatever ship you're playing,
Enterprise,
like the Enterprise,
whatever it is.
right? You got an engineer doing like power, and you got someone with weapons and steering, and then you got a captain yelling at everyone to do everything. This Squadrons is like that, but you're doing everything and still having to shoot down ships at the same time
And fly.
and coordinate with a squadron, and it feels so fun. It's everything I wanted. And then you throw it in VR, and you're like looking around in your cockpit, like following TIE fighters as you're looping around. It feels great. Everything I wanted it to be.
It's a lot of fun. Obviously, I'm playing story mode.
Yeah, there's story difficulty.
Story difficulty, which is just designed to be able to play. And
Yeah,
you don't. I mean, I'm crashing into crap and not dying, and stuff
Well, you
like
can crash
that.
into stuff and not die normally, which is a mechanic I appreciate in this game. But story mode makes it a lot easier.
I'm flying all over, and the whole point is I just want to be able to fly a TIE fighter, an A-wing, a Y-wing, an X-wing, and what else was the one that we do in the second? Anyway, the TIE
Interceptor.
Yeah, I think it might have been an Interceptor.
TIE Bomber, Reaper.
I think it was an Interceptor. Anyway, all those different types of ships, and have some fun and get a little bit of Star Wars story. And I want to finish the campaign, and I'm probably going to move on with my life.
That's
okay.
fair.
Because that's just not my thing. Gaming isn't my thing.
Yeah.
But playing it in VR is what makes this really, really cool. There's some moments where you have some dead time during the battles or whatever, like you're going from one area to another to a rendezvous or meet up or regroup, I think is what they call it. And I'm literally just looking around the cockpit and like looking outside the cockpit and just like, this is pretty cool. Or when I'm having these conversations for the campaign with the different people and the thing, I'm like, I was on in the hangar for the Empire, and having a conversation with one of what's the main character, the leader of the squadron that
Gray, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm talking with him, the one that was on the short, the short they did. I'm having this conversation. He's talking and all this stuff, and I'm just looking all around, and it felt like I was on Rise of Resistance, and that makes it awesome because there's continuity even in the way that it looks. It looked like you're there on Rise of Resistance, like you're in that environment. Yeah, well, when you go from getting captured on Rise of Resistance, spoiler alert, sorry, you go from being captured and you walk into that big area hangar, it looked exactly the same. It felt exactly the same. It felt to scale. It was awesome. All right, there's just that last battle frustrated me to no end. I couldn't find my balance. I couldn't figure out how to get to what it was. Sam hasn't played that one yet. He was trying not to. He couldn't help me. I'm in there. I'm like losing my stuff.
You're like
I was
genuinely
frustrated, pissed. BB Nate came in and helped me out. But explain, BB Nate, that I'm not. It was not just the fact that I'm not a gamer and I'm an old guy. What was it about that was so difficult?
It was very confusing, even for me. It was these little red markers. You had to blow up these thermal cores around the station. And there was just these little red markers telling you where to go. And it's this giant space station, and you have to figure out how to fly around these. And then there's walls everywhere, and you're having to go around, and you're
in a bomber, which they aren't very maneuverable.
No, and it was so frustrating. And then you finally got over with it, and you had no idea where to go to the end. And so you're like, I'm done. I'm not playing this anymore. So
I didn't mean I wasn't going to play it anymore. No, I just meant I'm not playing it anymore right now.
No,
you can't do it.
Yeah. And so I just sat down, I put it on, and I got him to where he needed to be because I knew that the final scene is a really cool scene to play in because it's really cool. And I'm like, Dad has to play this. So I got him in there. I'm like, okay, Dad, I figured it out for you. And so I got him in there and we finished the mission. But that one was frustrating for me too. But you haven't seen anything yet.
Okay. I think it gets a lot harder is what I understand. So I get it.
We have a mission for you.
Yeah. So here's my question. All right.
There's a
big Easter egg, and neither of you have said anything to me about it yet.
They mentioned Thrawn?
No.
That was cool though.
What do you think it is, BB Nate?
It has to do something with Hera.
No.
Okay, I don't know.
Vonreg.
Oh, we noticed that.
Yeah, we've noticed it.
So
yeah, I noticed that from the beginning, but I don't know how that works because Vonreg in Star Wars Resistance was a dude.
It's got to be an offspring.
That's what I thought. I thought maybe
are you saying that the chick's the offspring, or do you think
she's the parent?
The mom? That's kind of what I thought.
That's what I thought as well.
So do you think they're going to create more stories around some of the Resistance characters and that period?
I don't know.
I mean, they've got Alphabet Squadron going on, Mandalorian. They've got this game now with these characters. Do you think that they're trying to develop more stories in that period between the End of Return of the Jedi that might, and Force Awakens, that actually might tie into some things like what we understand about the First Order and Vonreg and all of this kind of stuff? She talks about having a brother that was killed in this, but that can't have anything to do with Major Von Reg from Star Wars Resistance. You can't have those two characters and not have that on purpose.
Right, the same name.
And their like anger against the rebellion and the love for the Empire and the piloting.
Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense. So that's Nathan and I both immediately, when we heard the name, thought
like
that.
Von Reg?
So
Why didn't you guys say anything?
I just forgot about it.
I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think that it makes
All right,
sense.
so I'm
that
just
they'd
gonna move
explore
on
this,
now, 'cause I feel-
time period now.
All right.
You were so proud.
I was so excited
of your,
about
of your
that.
little thing, and then we're like, oh yeah, we knew
All
about that.
Is there more content coming for Jedi Fallen Order? This is from CBR.com. I don't know what that one is. Anyway, we've used it before.
Did you not talk about the closing statement?
Oh yeah, I didn't. It'll sure be a lot of fun playing more in the next few days. Blah blah blah. Okay.
Did we step on your thunder?
You did. Yeah.
Sorry.
You just messed me
I'm
all
so
up,
sorry.
That's all right. I was all excited. I thought I had something cool going on there.
We just beat you to it.
And I did it.
Impressive.
So.
Every word in that sentence
Yeah.
was wrong.
All right, so again, is there more content coming for Jedi Fallen Order? The rumor comes from a deleted tweet from Reset Era moderator Shinobi 602. Well, you know, if Shinobi 602 says it,
It's
then-
got to be true.
Yeah, who has correctly leaked information regarding numerous games in the past, including characters who have previously been revealed for the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Edition. In the tweet, Shinobi 602 responds to another Twitter user stating more content coming down the pipe for Doom and Jedi Fallen Order. Is this Samuel? Is this DLC? What could it mean for the game?
I don't know.
Okay. It really worries me that they're doing a DLC. The only reason is
okay. Let me
okay.
let me go somewhere.
Go
with
ahead.
this. Maybe they'll be doing something like what they did, or what they're doing for the Spider-Man game. There's the Miles Morales thing coming, right? Which is like,
That's not a DLC. That's a full game.
but it's still sort of like a branch off of,
It's a spin-off.
right, off of the Fallen Order, and it's it's going to be on PS4 and PS5, but it's kind of coming out with the PS5 as like
launch and the
Right.
big like.
So why can't they do
showcase.
something like that for Fallen Order? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a DLC itself. It's more like a new game, but it's kind of smaller in a sense, like a offshoot maybe.
I don't know, but it worries me if they're releasing a DLC because they haven't said anything about Fallen Order 2 in a while. It performed well, but not, I don't think to the standards that they were wanting. And I'm worried that if they release a DLC, that they might be adding in more story to wrap up what they left open.
And didn't they say no microtransactions? Well, they might do like what
It
they
might
did
be
with
a free.
Battlefront 2. Yeah, so it might be a free DLC.
Okay, so let's maybe not be dark side about this and
I
actually
know.
be light side. Okay,
it worries me.
What if Jedi Fallen Order was like Game of the Year level type stuff?
Oh, it was a lot
Right.
of fun.
Fantastic.
It did overperform for a Star Wars game
Absolutely.
when it comes to the sales with it. It may not be performing at the level of some other non-Star Wars games that are similar, but it was
For what it is.
for Star Wars fans. We pretty much all agreed it was awesome, and everybody bought it, and everybody wants more.
Yes.
Okay. So it's kind of like the Mandalorian of gaming. After Battlefront 2, they show up with Jedi Fallen Order, and now Star Wars fans like it.
Yes.
You have the sequel trilogy, you have Solo, you have Rogue One, and Rogue One pretty much was well received. But you have these movies that are somewhat controversial or not liked in a lot of ways, but then they throw in the Mandalorian for live action, and it's loved, and we need more of that kind of stuff. Could it be that they're throwing their let's do a DLC, let's keep this game alive, okay, and bridge the gap of the period of time between when this game came out and the new one that is going to come out by doing a DLC to keep people engaged in the story, keep people engaged in the game in order to help boost the popularity of the follow-up game that's coming. Could that be more likely what's happening?
Yeah, like in a way to keep the hype going for both games. Yeah, that makes sense when you put it that way.
And what if the DLC is only available on PS5 and Xbox Select?
And,
I don't.
And it might be because they might be doing a free release of a remastered version for the PS5 specifically because, it's just... And the Xbox, I guess. But, they're doing that with a lot of other games. There are rumors that Squadrons is going to have it. There are been rumors for a lot of other games. They've already confirmed it for a few EA games. And so will they be doing it? Probably, and that might be what this DLC is about, but they also might add a little bit more story content to get people motivated to do it. So
that'd be fun.
I mean, it's just, I get where you're coming from with that, but if I'm not planning, if say I'm a Star Wars fan and I really like Fallen Order and I happen to have a PS4 and I played it, right? Throwing in a little DLC that you can only get by buying a PS5 is not going to make me go and buy a PS5, because the PS5 is really expensive, and a little 4 or 5 hour DLC is not going to make me want to go and buy the PS5. So I don't think that they can use that as a selling point.
Okay, well, we'll have to wait and see if this rumor turns out to be true. Xbox Series X releases November 10th. PS5 comes out a couple days later on November 12th officially, if people can find it and buy it.
Yeah.
All right, Gary Whitta says big Star Wars news is coming this week. This is from his Twitter account. I'll link to it in the show notes.
It's got to be legit.
Well, he tweeted it, so he said it. So that's what we're reporting, not what he's anything coming from it. We just are reporting what he said. Star Wars writer Gary Whitta wrote the original script for Rogue One.
Original?
Yeah, the first version.
The scrapped one?
Well, they changed it a lot later, but yeah, he wrote the original.
Okay.
Was a regular script writer for Star Wars Rebels. He has taken to his Twitter account to make a cryptic announcement about the popular Disney-owned franchised, Star Wars.
that one?
Would have shared a following post last week. It said some news coming from a galaxy far, far away next week. Stay tuned. Any guesses on what it could be about?
I hope Rebels. Just, you release Squadrons. There are a lot of Rebels callbacks. Then this guy that wrote on Rebels says that there's a big announcement. That just get to it already. Okay? Just release it. Announce it. Something. Just give us something. Please.
Sam, do you think it could be Rebels, or could it be something about the Cassian Rogue One series?
I think it's going to be Rogue One 2. They're going to bring them all
Rogue
back.
2?
Actually. None of them died. Yeah.
None of them died. The sequel?
Yeah, they're bringing it back.
All right, hold on.
Impressive.
They all jumped under the water and got saved.
Yeah, there you go.
You underestimate my power.
Yeah. So.
A weapon that blows up planets. They just jumped under the water and are okay.
It's like in Minecraft.
Yeah.
You don't take damage in water.
Well, they only did it was a single reactor ignition.
Oh, okay. So
come
it's
on.
only like 3 nukes as opposed to 5.
It wasn't the first time they've actually used it. Haven't you watched Star Wars?
I'm sorry. Okay.
They never in Rogue One used the full power of the Death Star, because Grand Moff Tarkin says to Vader that they're demonstrating the full power of the Death Star in A New Hope.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm still a little punchy from the Star Wars Squadrons gameplay earlier
I
today.
can tell. No, I don't know what it could be. I mean, he just said
None of us know
some
what
news.
it could be. He could be talking about what he's writing in the Empire Strikes Back version of From a Certain Point of View, because he's writing a story in that. So
it's probably nothing big. Let's just be real honest.
Well, then why did he say some? Oh wait, some news. I thought he said big news.
Nope, he just said some news. It could be anything.
It's going to be Rian Johnson's trilogy is canceled on that.
I feel like I've heard that one a time or two.
Yeah, so.
But he better not let us down with some stupid Empire Strikes Back from a certain point.
Wow, he's getting a little bit of toxic fandom going over here, right?
Rebels.
He really does love Rebels.
Give it to me.
And on that note, you should check out our show on Wednesday, Star Wars Rebels
That is
Revisited,
true.
Episode 1, Spark of Rebellion Part 1. There we go. All right.
Shameless plug.
That was good.
It was shameless.
And if, anything really significant happens, we'll put it out on our Facebook page, not on Twitter.
But is it next
We may
week?
retweet that. So.
Is it next week, like Monday?
That's this week, right now.
So
that was last week.
Is it like Monday or
What?
So who talks first? You talk first?
how
I talk
soon
first.
is it? Do we know this?
Sometime within this week.
We have
gonna
no
announce
idea.
it at midnight on.
All righty then. Over the last 3 years, as we've been recording this podcast, we've talked about
3 years?
It almost, yeah.
Wow.
It's been more than 3 years since we started that YouTube channel.
Oof.
Really?
Yeah. So we talked a lot during that time about Sheev Palpatine.
Pop out.
I mean, a whole lot. So.
I am the Senate.
And there's a good reason for it. I mean, he's the villain of the entire Skywalker Saga. But beyond that, he's fascinating as he moves from that humble senator from Naboo to reluctant Chancellor of the Republic to the Emperor of the Galactic Republic. But did Star Wars actually hurt the character by bringing him back in the Rise of Skywalker.
Bulky religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people.
Okay, Samuel the Hutt, tell us what
That's
you think. Tell us what you think about the Senate.
The Senate?
Yep.
I think it's a pretty good form of government.
No, you know
with
what
the
I'm talking about.
balances and checks and
We're
stuff.
gonna call Palpatine the Senate today. So,
we talked about him before
a lot. I said that in the
and
intro,
recently.
so, yeah.
And I've said before, I just think it's really interesting to see. You happy I used the word, Nate?
I am happy.
To see how he manipulates everything for his goal, including, using Anakin's love and his emotions as a way to also further Palpatine rising to power and stuff. He didn't give a crap about Padme or Anakin. Let's just be real honest. He does not. He only cares about himself and ruling the galaxy. And everything he does is just manipulative and evil, and it always goes towards that goal. And it's messed up and it's twisted and it's evil, but it's interesting to see how he pulls it off.
BB Nate, you had some thoughts.
You got some.
Why don't we
thinking
have
to
a
do?
Darth Sidious comics? Sidious.
Why don't we have a Darth Sidious comic theory? Seriously,
actually
guy.
has a list.
Seriously,
Be nice
guy.
to him.
We need Darth Sidious theories on comic book theories.
Why don't we though?
I love you, Nate.
I love you.
All right.
But why don't we have a Darth Sidious?
That's a great question.
Comic series. I mean, we don't have any of
What
his
time
backstory.
period would you want that to be set, BB?
While he's being trained by Plagueis.
Trained, or maybe even before, how somehow he rises up and to be a part of the Naboo.
Well, he's just a senator from Naboo. Like that's. I mean,
he's like from a royal family on
Yeah.
Naboo. That's been established. So, yeah, it would be interesting.
because all we've got from that time period isn't even canon. It's the Darth Plagueis novel.
I mean, we've
right?
had Darth Maul, we've had Count Dooku, we've had freaking Kylo Ren, Darth Vader, but
multiple Vader ones.
But we don't have.
Do you
any
think we lose the
Sidious.
mystery of Palpatine if we do something? If we give more information about his backstory?
Well, it's the same question about Snoke. I think we asked this exact same question about Snoke a while ago, and I said put the backstory into somehow, but I said that he's not a big enough character to write a full book or a comic series about, and they explained backstory in Rise of Kylo Ren. He was a small part in it, and they explained his backstory, so it was really nice, and it flushed that out. But I do think that Palpatine is big enough to get a whole book or comic series about his backstory. I think.
So you want to know more?
I want to know more.
I want to know more.
I don't know. I kind of like not knowing.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's an element of when
It keeps him from being as much of a person and more of like a evil force.
Yeah, I don't want to empathize with Palpatine.
I can understand.
I don't want to see, think about what Dooku did with Asajj, and think about what Palpatine did with Maul, and how he psychologically and emotionally and used the Force to abuse them
and manipulate. Yeah,
abuse
even Kylo Ren,
like evil. Like if you remember from Dark Disciple, when Asajj talks about what Dooku made her go through, and then she makes Quinlan Boss go through that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be completely honest. I fell asleep halfway through Dark
Disciple.
Disciple.
It's okay. It's a good book. You should.
That was a weird one.
It was a good book.
I caught up
right.
close to the end, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
that.
Anyway, it's pretty ugly stuff, and it makes Maul a sympathetic character. It totally makes Asajj
very
a sympathetic character.
Yes. Especially in Dooku
this.
Lost too. Dooku Jedi Lost.
I don't want Darth Sidious to be. I don't want to empathize with the dude.
You
I
don't like
want
him?
him to be evil and bad, and I don't like him. And I see him show up in Phantom Menace, and I'm thinking, bad guy. That guy's name's Palpatine. He's the bad guy.
He's a Sith Lord.
He's a Sith Lord. Yeah. And so he's manipulating things. You see him manipulating all throughout the prequel trilogy. I don't want to sit there and think, oh, yeah, but then there was that thing that Plagueis did to him that was so bad, or he comes from a rough life, or no. He's the bad guy. So I'm not sure if I agree with that, BB Nate.
Interesting.
It's a good thought.
You could be wrong.
It is
what if
interesting.
the comic series though didn't make you empathize with him? It just made him even more evil.
Okay, I'm good with that.
There.
If it makes me
Like
the inner workings of how he thought.
Like the
he
Darth
should
Vader
kill
series.
Darth Plagueis.
It
made me
the
empathize.
Dark
it
Lord of the
reminds
Sith
me
series.
of an episode we saw. It might have been on House or something like that, where there was this kid that was completely like psychopathic.
Oh yeah, I remember
right,
what you're talking about. Yeah,
and
yeah.
like manipulative,
Yeah.
and like
So a
just
literal
like literally
sociopath.
had a sociopath. If this child from age 2 is a sociopath and angry and evil and manipulative and willing to lie about anything and inflict pain on anybody, murder its own sibling like this kid in House did, and all of that, and that's Sidious.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that one I'm cool with.
Right.
But I don't want a sympathetic Palpatine.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about the Dark Lord of the Sith Vader series. Sure, you got to see sides of Vader that you haven't seen before, and you got to see more of his motivation and stuff. But that didn't make what he did any less evil. I mean, it was messed up, the stuff he did. He flooded an entire town just to prove a point to that Jedi he stole his saber from.
But still, we know
horrible.
he's Anakin. We know his story,
True.
and so it clouds everything.
That's fair.
That's fair. Him when you see it in the Dark Lord of the Sith, you've got he's trying to get to Padme again,
Vader Immortal and the Eon Star.
Exactly.
Right.
And this, I don't want that for Palpatine. So.
Okay.
Oh, and the show you're talking about was Bull, not
Was it
House.
Bull? Oh, that was ugly.
That was a hard episode.
A twisted episode. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was like when Sam decided he didn't want to watch that anymore.
I didn't like that show.
He didn't like that show. Anyway,
It was a good episode.
All right,
But,
so let's talk about him in the series.
All right, go ahead.
As far as the original trilogy goes,
We're going for the easy stuff, man.
well, I mean,
Well, no.
You left the hard part for
He's
me.
barely
we
in.
hear about him in. I remember being a kid and not even caring about the Emperor.
You weren't supposed to. He was
Yeah,
mentioned, like,
he was
twice.
a nobody character, right? So he's mentioned a couple of times in A New Hope, in Star Wars, and he's that ugly frog
lady
thing, pig character, in the hologram in
The Empire Strikes
in the
Back.
Empire Strikes Back.
That was.
And wasn't it like the story was like it was a lady in like a monkey mask or something?
Yeah,
That's
it was
what they
weird.
did.
Yeah, it was weird. And then you see him, and he's the bad guy. He's the ultimate bad guy. You see him as the puppet, the marionette pulling all the strings in Return of the Jedi, and he's elevated to that place, but only so that we can have a redemption of Darth Vader, not because he's a character that really.
So he's not really the big bad.
No, he is.
He is, but he's not in there for very.
But he's already enthroned. All right, he's already the key. He's already the at the top.
Right. He's already in power.
of things. Right. We see his downfall. We see his defeat, but we don't really. I'm not scared of the Emperor in the original trilogy. When I watch that, I don't care about the Emperor. I think he's ugly and he shoots lightning, and you're like, wait a second, nobody's ever done that before. Okay, that's cool because that's the way we watched Star Wars in the original trilogy era.
Like, that's not canon. Where did that come
Who's
from?
ever shot lightning out of their fingers before? Well, Palpatine.
You can't
did.
do force time.
Okay?
Who gets
We
a
don't-
green
we don't even
lightsaber?
we don't even call him Darth Sidious. You don't even. His name is not Darth Sidious.
No, it's just the Emperor.
It's the Emperor. And the only reason we knew it was Emperor Palpatine was because that was what the novel called him.
Really?
In the
So he's literally just
Okay, what was
called
the action
Emperor.
figure called then? Emperor Palpatine.
the Emperor.
No, just the Emperor.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was just the Emperor. Okay. And so
And that even further like
Mystified.
doesn't I don't know like what the reverse of this would be, like personifies like the opposite of that. You know what I mean?
okay.
Like you don't he doesn't even
I have
have
no idea what we're talking about.
him not having an actual name.
Oh, okay.
Like even makes him less of a person and more of just a
He's just
figure.
evil.
He's just the Emperor. There's no name, nothing. He's just evil.
Kind of wish they stayed with that.
Me too. But then it would be kind of
and
tough
so
to make the prequels.
We get to the prequels,
Yeah.
and we start getting backstory
a lot of it.
on that. So
Yeah. I mean, we first learn, we see him as just a senator from Naboo, some low-ranking political official from a backwater planet, really. I mean, not backwater, but he's not really all that significant in the grand scheme of things, right? But we see how he is working behind the scenes and what he's manipulating and how he eventually is awarded, he manipulates people to get the current chancellor out of office, right? And then he manipulates things to get it to where he's got emergency powers, right? And then he's so charismatic and he has everybody under his spell to where they're like, oh yeah, it's fine. He can keep the emergency powers. We don't really care. And we just see how he manipulates everything to get to where he is in the original trilogy. But along the way, we learn more of his backstory, right? I mean, you got the whole, have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis, the wise thing and stuff. And, you know, again, it doesn't really, I don't think it makes us empathize with him anymore. I mean, everything we learn about him is just evil, right? I mean, you know, we see how he's manipulating Anakin and his feelings and how that's just pure evil. I mean, nothing that we do that we see makes me think, oh, I feel bad for Palps. You know, no, we still think he's evil, but we do learn more about him as a person and learn about how he became this powerful emperor that we see in Return of the Jedi.
Okay, I had a question for you.
I have an answer for
when you were
and
first,
I'm going to observe.
When you were first watching the prequels,
Yeah.
did you know that Chancellor Palpatine was the emperor? Did you
Yes.
think that? Okay.
Yes.
So it's
but I'll be
obvious to
honest
you.
with you guys.
Yeah.
In 1999, when the Phantom Menace came out,
Fathom?
the Phantom, when the Phantom Menace came out, there was, you know, the general public didn't know that the Emperor was Palpatine.
Really?
The general public did not realize that that's the last name of the Emperor from the original trilogy.
Interesting.
And so it was so fun because that was the beginning of the internet. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the internet had been around, but it was like becoming
Dial-up.
popular size. AOL. Yeah, exactly. The dial-up stuff. And I mean, I was all over the message boards. I was all over checking out
forums,
you know, those forums and such. And it'd be like, guys,
I think this.
I think I just discovered that that Senator Palpatine becomes the Emperor. And they're like coming out with like all this stuff from the book and everything else. It's like in the opening paragraph of Alan Dean Foster's novel that came out before Star Wars the movie, right? It's there. They call him Emperor Palpatine. And so, you know, Star Wars like geeks knew this.
Right.
But a lot of the general public didn't with it. And it was fun to watch people kind of come to that realization. And
Was there so many toxic people back then?
yeah, there was been toxic people in Star Wars. Anything
There's
that,
toxic people
anything
in
that
any
creates
fandom.
a passionate fandom is going to have toxicity because humans are goofy. Okay.
Some humans.
that's one way
I'm
to put it.
perfect.
No, we're all well. Hold on. This one deserves it.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
All right. I do think that the prequels elevated Palpatine to a really, really amazing bad guy. When you get to the end, that Darth Plagueis scene, you know, at the Mon Calamari Opera, you know, have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise stuff, and I am, you know, this thing. Hold on.
I am the Senate.
Thank you, Joe Biden. Oh, I'm sorry. That was not.
Careful.
That was the wrong
Democratic
person.
Party.
I am the Democratic Party. So anyway.
That was a mess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
not
just
go
be
there right
honest.
now.
The debate was a disaster, right? And I could say you could pretty much say this about both sides and everything that they said.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
And the rest of us said,
This is madness.
okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
Let's not go there right now. This is not a political podcast.
So here's the deal.
even though we're talking about politics.
Yeah. I loved Palpatine in the prequels because it created
A mythos, kind of?
a bad guy but it makes me want to know more about that 20-year period, 19-year period. And we've gotten that in Dark Lord of the Sith. We've gotten that in Rebels. We've gotten that in some other stuff.
Fallen Order and everything.
Yeah, not much in Fallen Order for me because I haven't followed it, but
You hadn't finished it still.
Anyway, I think it's good. So so then my question for you, BB-Nate, you've gone on record
Right.
that you really do like The Rise of Skywalker.
I do.
And you even said that earlier.
It's a good movie.
And we all do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we all like The Rise of Skywalker, but it seems to me like you've been more vocally in favor of it all along since the very first viewing with it. BB-Nate, what do you think about Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker and the sequel trilogy as a whole?
I feel like the novel probably fleshed out the story of Palpatine better than the movie did. We know that that is a clone body that they put his essence into, so he's still not technically alive. The body's deteriorating. They need to find a new clone body for him to be put in, and that's where Rey's father comes into play. That is an amazing story as to how Palpatine is still alive. I really like that. I feel like his character throughout the sequel trilogy is very important to Kylo Ren's story. Kylo Ren has a lot to do with Emperor Palpatine, because in Rise of Kylo Ren, we know that Palpatine is influencing him to become a bad guy, and
through Snoke,
right. Yes, and I mean, and his voice is in his head and everything, from Darth Vader and everything. So he is important through Force Awakens, because we see Vader's helmet, and important through Last Jedi because Snoke, and then he's important in Rise of Skywalker because he's actually there and he is the main bad guy. I feel like he is scary and he's evil in Rise of Skywalker, which stayed true to his character, but do I think that it fit? Not really. I kind of wanted them to move away. Not that it's terrible how they introduced this character into it, but I feel like we've gotten his whole story, like from prequels until the end of the sequels, and I honestly feel like his story kind of ended at the end of Return of the Jedi, because it's not really the same person anymore. It's not the same character. It's just his Force essence put into another body.
I disagree. I think you need to have Palpatine in the end. He is the bad guy of the Skywalker saga, and you need to have him finish out the story. I just feel like the general execution was done poorly, not just in Rise of Skywalker. If they had better weaved that through the previous two movies, I think it would have been fantastic. But they just kind of threw him in at the end, just like on a whim, just like, sure, he's a clone, you know, and it didn't fit. It kind of felt disjointed, like, oh, okay, suddenly Palpatine's a part of this. If they had better integrated it, I think it would have been great. I think you have to have Palpatine in the
And from
end.
what I saw in what Colin Trevorrow's movie would have been, it feels
Duel
like
of the Fates or whatever. Yeah.
It feels like it would have been better weaved into it. And I mean, everything about it just seems like it would have. It seemed like Colin Trevorrow cared about how the series ended a little bit more than J.J. Abrams did.
No, I think that's
I mean, just J.J.
That's an opinion on your side,
Yeah.
and you're allowed to have that. But I would say I'd be careful with
I'm not saying
reading into to whether or not J.J. Abrams cared.
No,
It just seems like J.J. Abrams had his story he wanted to tell, and he was going to tell it regardless. In a sense, if that makes sense, you know.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And I'm sure some people will say that about Rian Johnson too, which is entirely plausible. I don't know about that,
but he didn't really carry off of what Rian Johnson.
He really largely ignored it.
Yeah.
So
it felt like I
don't think he intentionally vindictively ignored Rian Johnson's stories.
No.
I think that they respect each other. I think that they like each other. I think that JJ appreciated the ideas that Ryan came up with, but JJ's going to do JJ's movie, and that's what he did.
Yep.
With it, and that's the challenge that you have when you don't have a continuous thing. You don't have a Kevin Feige guiding the whole thing. Question is, two questions. First of all, Kathleen Kennedy, April 2019, Celebration Chicago. They show the trailer. Ian McDiarmid comes out, roll it again. Everybody's losing their mind about Emperor Palpatine coming out. We're all in there. It's like the high point of Rise of Skywalker hype, right?
Yes,
Without a doubt.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. In the post-panel interviews with news crews, and Adam Lance Garcia was at the time producing for Yahoo, immediately came into the lowly media room that we were allowed to be a part of that didn't have anybody in it.
That was nice.
It was
a
nice.
nice
Anyway,
room.
he came in and he did the show with us, and he said flat out, she said that that Palpatine's return has been in the books since they started thinking about writing the Force Awakens. It's always been in the plans. Was that? I don't want to say she's lying. how do I say this? I have no doubt that conversation was had. But was it really the plan? Was it really like, yes, we're going to have him come back?
Was it just kind of an idea that was thrown out and they're like, maybe?
Yeah,
but not
if it fits, we'll do it.
Yeah, but like not like...
Because it doesn't feel like it was the plan.
No, it's not mentioned at all in the first two films. At all.
Is Rise of Kylo Ren a retcon in order to try to fix this?
It feels like it. And I'm not saying that Rise of Kylo Ren was a bad series. It was actually a really good comic series.
People love it. And I haven't finished it yet, so I want to. So.
I'll
finished
it.
it.
But I don't think that they really thought that Palpatine was supposed to come back. I feel like it was an idea that might have been thrown out, and they're like, eh.
Did decrepit, falling apart, rotting, stuck to a giant robotic arm version of Darth Sidious, Emperor Palpatine, in The Rise of Skywalker, did this hurt the character of Emperor Palpatine? Would his character have been better off had they not had him in The Rise of Skywalker?
I don't know. Because I've said I feel like you have to have him finish off the series. It's just he needed to be more present in the first two films. I don't think the way he was presented in The Rise of Skywalker was bad. Like that physical form, I think it's fine. It's just it felt like it was rushed and just kind of tried to be like shoehorned in there at the last minute just to see if it would work. And that's where I think the problems arise. I don't think the decrepit, falling apart Palpatine's a problem. I feel the overall execution.
Again, I feel like the execution was poor. I feel like what Sam said, it was shoehorned in there. They're like, okay, Last Jedi didn't get good ratings. Let's introduce the big baddie from the original trilogy. That'll get people to watch our movie. I'm not saying that I did want him to be in this movie. I feel like it was what everybody was expecting. But the execution, I just didn't enjoy the execution that they had his character with.
He didn't seem like much of a threat.
No, he didn't. I mean, a guy with an arm that's old and falling apart isn't much of a threat.
He isn't the threat.
No.
The fleet is the threat.
Fleet, yeah.
Yes, not him. They don't even know about him until the very
and
end.
if he's still hooked up to the arm, and they defeat the threat, the fleet, they're kind of like, okay,
yeah.
That's the way it felt, and that's why I say it. For me, it diminishes his character.
That's
to some
fair.
extent.
I understand now where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've for the dad moment this week.
I am your father.
We've talked about Palpatine a lot on this show. I mentioned that before. I've tended to compare him to a Satan-like figure. He's the ultimate evil who manipulates everyone from behind the scenes until the time is right to fully reveal himself and then grab the throne that he's been pursuing all along. But what ultimately bests him in The Return of the Jedi is love and his sacrifice. And in reality, it's the only thing that's ever going to bring defeat of evil. And then as I'm thinking about it, the Satan-like figure in Star Wars comes back at the end as a shell of himself in order to try to rise up. And biblically, that's what's going to happen with Satan after his defeat with it. So next week, I have no idea what we're going to talk about because we're starting a new series.
That was 10 people already?
Yeah, I think so.
Dang.
Something like that. So.
Wow.
It'll be we'll have to just tune in.
Droids. We're doing droids, right?
We talked about doing droids. It's possible.
Might be kind of fun.
There are
actually.
a lot of droids.
It might be a fun show to do. So maybe we'll do droids.
I think we should do droids.
I think we should. Right. Do we start with R2 though?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll do all the good droids.
Okay.
All right. So anything else you guys want to talk about?
Anything else?
Theory. This is strictly a theory. Anakin and Baby Yoda were meant to be Star Wars' most important duo, i.e. the dyad.
Wow, now that's an interesting idea.
I don't think that the vibe between Anakin and Baby Yoda would have
You don't think
worked.
they get along?
I don't.
Yeah.
They're two children. No.
Well, no. Oh, yeah. No, so, I mean, I think that, I don't know how this theory
That would
works.
be weird.
And the more I think about the theory, the less the theory makes sense. So anyway, we'll move past that.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Darth Maul's real name still hasn't been revealed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why this
like
is
we know Dooku, we know
Palpatine,
we know
why am I forgetting every Sith
Kylo-
that's
yeah,
ever
Ben
existed?
Solo.
Okay, do we actually know Palpatine?
That's his
No,
name.
it's Sheev
No,
Palpatine.
I know,
Sheev
but-
Palpatine is his name.
Is it his
It is
real
his
name?
That's his real name.
It
No,
is.
but like, what if he just made up a name to
He
get
didn't.
royalty?
It's close enough.
He didn't. He was born on Naboo. He was born to a royal family.
Okay,
He's
what's to
Sheev
stop a
Palpatine.
man that's evil?
Okay.
To
all
Why
right.
does it matter? We know his non-Sith
Question
name.
is, will we ever get Darth Maul's name, and do we really need it?
No and no.
No.
All right. That's fine. Matt
with that.
Martin went on Twitter the other day.
Oh,
and
go Matt.
Stirred up some controversy.
On top of all the stuff that's
I
already
got a
going on.
bad feeling about
You know,
this.
I'm not even sure.
He's like, Squadrons is performing well. We got to get some more controversy
I'm
in
not
here.
sure if this is worth talking about because it might, like blow up the show even right here. But he explained that we've all been spelling the word
Tauntaun wrong?
Tauntaun
How do you spell it?
wrong. It's Tauntaun,
Okay.
but you can't capitalize it. And people have been spelling it with like capitals and
Why can't you capitalize
TONTON and
Do you capitalize cow?
Unless it's the first word in a sentence.
Well, yeah.
so
Interesting.
and in classic Star Wars fan fashion,
People got
people
all
are
up
not,
pissed
I'm just
off
when
about
I
it.
talk about it being a big mess, it's not that big of a mess, but it's funny anyway.
People are making a big deal out of it just for
They
fun.
are making
yeah.
a big deal out of it. So anyway, okay. Yeah, it's your turn, BB Nate.
Focus.
We're waiting on you, Bubba.
Come on, bud.
Come on.
Oh, yeah. Give us a rating.
Hold on.
and-
This fits. So
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
Please give us a rating and review on iTunes and Google Podcasts and most of the podcatchers that you use. It helps people find the show. It really does. And if they do find it and see your awesome positive review, they might actually want to listen to it more, which is good.
So
It's
please
good
give
for
us a
us.
review.
Yes, and
good
we'll
for
read
us.
it on the air if it doesn't have a lot of no words and
And we find
it's positive.
Yeah.
So
And then normally I'd say follow us on all our social medias.
Just follow us
but
on Facebook because that's
Yeah,
what we're doing right now.
That's where we're doing stuff. Join our discussion
It's not like
group.
I'm canceling the other
No,
accounts.
just we're not really doing much on there. So just go ahead and follow us on Facebook and join our discussion group, Tatooine Sons discussion group, and then you can interact with us, post your stuff on there, help us shape the show, all that stuff. It's just a lot of fun, and that's where we're most active. So it's just follow
Well,
us
we
on
haven't been active on anything for the last few weeks.
True.
But that's where we're going to be more active. So
yeah,
that's what the choice I've made. So
Good choice.
It is a good choice.
it is.
It was fun doing the show again, guys.
Yeah.
Let's do a Rebels show this week.
I think that's a good idea.
I like that show.
I love that show. So
It's a good show.
can't
It's a
wait.
good show.
It comes out Wednesday sometime
Hopefully.
once it gets edited. It's not gonna be a big edit,
Yeah.
so it'll be a lot of fun. So, anything else you guys want to say?
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you always.
This party's over.
I like that Wookiee.
Don't get technical with me.
Joy, please.
All right, we're
Okay,
back.
quick question. We gotta
We're
do the
back.
post show.
We're doing the post show.
Post
Okay.
show.
Wait, are we gonna play a weird video again?
I gotta find one.
no.
gotta
Is
find a
anyone
weird
even
video.
watching though?
Is anybody
No,
watching?
but we'll put it on there.
Oh, okay.
Nobody's watching.
No, we had a couple people watch. Somebody actually did make a comment. Facebook user.
Just Facebook user.
Facebook user.
That's
Says his Star Wars news, Gary Whitta's Star Wars news may be related to the book. Says that New York City Comic Con virtual event is this week, and there are some publishing people.
Okay, I actually heard that there's a real Comic-Con coming. Like,
And Jim is asking if we've talked about The Force Unleashed before.
oh,
We've talked about it.
Not
I
much.
haven't gone in
Love
detail
that
though.
game,
That
though.
is a fantastic game.
That's something we should.
That's a fun
Is that
game.
gonna be the main topic next week?
We have that game.
I don't know. You know what? If we ever get Sam Witwer on the show, we'll talk a lot about Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Heck
because-
yeah.
But no. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I don't remember the second one though. I don't think I've ever fully played it. The first one I have played.
The funny thing is,
Many times
there's a
over.
little Easter egg about the second one. On all versions, except for the Wii, on all versions, it's like the normal version, but only on the Wii, you can
There's the
disembody
actual
people.
dismemberment.
Yeah.
Which is weird because the Wii.
you can dismember?
Yes, on
But
the
nothing
Wii
else.
of all consoles. Like, yeah, you can like cut people in
And we
half
had
and
it on the Wii.
And the Wii is like the most kiddie version
Right.
of the consoles.
Exactly.
We were a little confused. We got it on the Wii, actually. The first
I think we
time.
got it from a library, yeah.
Oh, you rented it.
Yeah.
And we're like,
That's new.
Like you cut people's arms and heads off and stuff.
You cut them in half.
Well, it's not
and
like
everything.
really graphic like cutscene stuff, but like you'll be doing your normal moves and you'll just happen to see a stormtrooper cut in half. Like, I mean, it's cauterized and stuff like in the movies, but
just black.
They're cut in half.
I remember that's one of the games I did play. I played all the way through. I beat it. I finished that game. That was before you guys did.
Did you ever do the 2 DLCs? I got the Ultimate Sith
Those
Edition
are
one time.
Weird.
One of them is if you like set after you go with Palpatine and defeat Vader. It's set at the Battle of Hoth, and freaking Luke turns to the dark side
while you're fighting him.
It's
whack. It is so weird. You fight Ben.
Yeah.
Ben Solo. Kill him. Or not Ben Solo. Ben Kenobi. Kill him, and then fight his Force Ghost.
Wow.
Yeah. They're cool though.
Very cool.
It's really whack.
Okay. Yeah.
Whack.
Oh,
It's whack.
We should do that.
What video
I gotta find the video now. I wasn't talking to you guys, so hold on.
I'm trying to think of a weird video that we could watch.
Oh well, there's plenty. Bad Christian
music videos.
Music. Let's see. There's. Oh, here we go.
What?
Here we go.
Oh, I have to get over here for this.
No, that's not it. We're gonna do
what
this.
Was that?
Well, this.
Okay, here we go. All right, so this
I'm
one's
just
worst church
listening.
singer ever.
Oh.
Man sings "Looking for a City." This is. I have seen
have
this
you
one.
actually seen it?
I have seen this one. You're gonna watch it?
Of course.
I'm gonna listen. I'm just
gonna listen. Just take it.
Take
Just
it.
imagine a guy that's probably eaten a few too many pizzas.
Okay.
Okay.
In a suit.
Wearing clothes that he bought before he ate too many pizzas.
Gotcha. Okay.
Khaki pants, teal
Khakis.
green shirt.
Yeah. That's
sitting
exactly the image I've got.
Sitting on a platform at a church.
Okay.
Bald.
Okay.
Like
he had hair.
Like
oh yeah, no, that's what I got. Yeah.
And glasses.
Glasses. Yep.
Okay. And here's what he's doing.
Have you seen this before, Sam?
No, that's the image I immediately got in my
Oh, okay.
All right.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
So hold on, I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna make this happen here. So give me a second. This will end with this one. So share audio. We're gonna go full screen.
Let's do this.
Oh wait, we gotta go back over to this. And we gotta go. We gotta turn.
Are we
off
gonna
our
do
branding.
this?
Yeah.
We gotta turn off the branding though. So hold on.
Lame.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Otherwise, the branding is weird. All right, here we go. You guys ready for this?
I'm ready.
4 minutes.
Oh yeah, this is.
We're gonna watch all 4 minutes.
Next and final song is going to be one that has made me pretty famous over the last few years. It has took me a lot of places I didn't think I would be at. But it was the first time on stage, New Year's Eve 2002, with one of the best quartets out there today, Brian Free and Assurance.
No.
And I was privileged to be able to sing this one with Brian Free. And I don't know if I beat him that night or not, but ever since then we've had competitions. I've wore him out. Not to make me look good or anything, but that's what happened. But this is one that also my friends at my hometown church, Gospel Light Baptist Church in Salisbury, North Carolina, has really made their top choice. So therefore, we're going to finish off with this one. It's called "Looking for a City."
Yeah. Oh, that piano.
He doesn't even know when to start.
This song's made me pretty famous.
As someone
over the
that's
years.
led music in churches.
Looking for a city
And his
built
father did.
above.
This is so horrible.
Looking for a city where we'll never die, where the saint and millions never say goodbye. There we'll meet our Savior, and our loved ones too. Come, Holy Spirit.
What?
Holy
Isn't it?
Looking for a city where we'll never die.
I wouldn't be able to contain myself at this church service.
Never say goodbye. There will be no Savior, and our loved ones too. Come, Holy Spirit.
VeggieTales.
Hold
It doesn't go up more, does it?
Sadie millions.
He's struggling. You can visibly see he's struggling.
Never meet our Savior, and our love was true. I'm a Holy Spirit.
Hold on. It's not done.
He stood up.
Looking for a city where we'll never die.
It sounds like it's been pitch adjusted.
Never say goodbye. There we meet our Savior.
Right now, please.
And our loved ones too. Come, the Holy Spirit, hold our homes renewed.
He just
Stop. Took a drink. Want me to get the keychain. Now he's back.
Never done. Well, the Sadie millions never say goodbye. There will be their Savior, and our one was too. Come, the Holy Spirit, hold our homes renewed.
What?
For a city
It's just
where we'll never die.
There's
Where
still
the Sadie
30 seconds.
millions never say goodbye.
He's like not on key or beat at all.
That's all I'm doing.
He probably saw so many. That was beautiful. Okay,
yeah.
please tell me that guy is.
that was
Please
awesome.
tell me that guy is a comedian.
Oh, joyous noise. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord.
It was about the
Right?
third week.
Oh,
into
wait.
Kathy's weight
Something's
loss
still playing
battle.
here. Whoa. Kathy's working out. All right. Yikes. You can go back to your seat. So here's the...
That guy has to be a comedian.
No, he's being dead serious. And here's what's funny. Is he said at the beginning that he sung like this against Brian Free.
Who? Who's
Brian Free? Brian Free and Assurance is one of the like top Southern gospel groups. And this guy is one of the best tenors that's ever been around in music. You got to turn that around, BB Nate. Okay. And you good? Got it? There we go. All right. And there's no way that guy was being legit. There's no way he
That
sung
has
that.
to be a comedian.
Wow.
It has to
No,
be.
he wasn't being. He wasn't. And on that note, there's really not much more that we can say. So, thank you guys for tuning in and watching.
Tuning in.
You guys are the best. May the force be with you. We're gonna go eat dinner.
What's for dinner?
We haven't. It's supposed to be salad and pizza. I don't think that's happening.
That's happening.
It's not happening tonight. So, see you guys later.
Bye.
Wait, you gonna wave, BB Nate? You gonna
Bye.
wave? Hold on. We're waiting for
Bye.
your camera's locked up. So,
Bye.
all right.